Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Movies Worth Seeing. On today's episode, we are reliving a classic, an underrated, underappreciated 90s classic from Joel Schumacher. It is Falling Down, starring Michael Douglas as seemingly an ordinary everyman who's just thrusted into a world of chaos in Los Angeles. And, the plot thickens after that.
Well, as soon as you see Michael Douglas is in it, you know it's going to be a good film. But it's not necessarily as much as Michael Douglas, it is the projects that he chooses to do.
Yeah.
That are always classic, that are always good. Michael Douglas is a phenomenal actor, that's for sure. But
if there's one thing that astounds me about Michael Douglas, though, it's just that he can go from being so sympathetic to absolute psychopath in like such a switch.
Yeah.
Where he can make the audience hate him and love him and relate to him all within the same film. Like, very similar. I watched War of the Roses with Lisa, my wife, a couple weeks ago. And very similar thing, you know. You get behind him, you can relate with him, but then he can go past this point of no return where you're just like, oh, okay, that was a bit too far. But then he could go back to being like, oh, likable. I like him again. Oh, I understand him now.
Yeah. And then he takes it another step further again.
Yeah. And even in Falling Down, like near the end of the film, you see him embracing his daughter and you're like, oh my God, like that's such a heartfelt, emotional moment. But in the next scene, you understand that, oh, he's still not well.
He can't cope with reality. Yeah, you can see how he cannot cope with reality. So it's like, yeah, his daughter loves him, he loves his daughter, and everything he does is for his daughter, which is wholesome and preachable. You know what I mean? It's like you vouch for him doing the best he possibly can for his daughter. The bad guys are not relatable anymore.
Yes.
These days. And their motives are purely to be bad. Whereas with Michael Douglas's character here, his motives are not to be bad. He sees himself as a good guy, and he sees himself standing up for the American values, and he's doing everything out of love for his daughter, even all the way towards the end, where he's willing to sacrifice his life for his daughter to get the insurance money so that she can have a good life. Once he realizes he's the bad guy, he has two options. Either I'm going to go real bad. Well, it's not a real choice because he knew he wasn't going to, or I'm going to sacrifice my life for my daughter to have a proper life. Yeah. And that's exactly the choice he went for. And you can commend him for it.
With Falling Down is when you first see this character, you feel like he's just an everyday everyman that is just getting thrusted into these horrible situations where like he just wants to be left alone. He's just trying to get to his daughter's birthday, but there's, you know, gang members, homeless people bothering him, you know, all these horrible people, toxicity from Los Angeles that is just rising above the surface. But then as the movie goes on, all these layers get peeled back where you're like, oh, he's not this average, everyday man.
Yeah.
Working class hero kind of character. Like when you think about shows at the time like Homer from The Simpsons or Married with Children, like those everyman dads that like people would resonate with. He dresses the same, like he's wearing a white shirt and like a tie. You feel like, okay, he's just an average middle class guy,
yeah,
trying to make ends meet. But then the whole kind of label comes crashing down. The identity comes crashing down, falling down.
But I think that's actually a very typical thing from films in that era, is to portray the common man. Right? If you go to, that's what makes these classics so good. Because if you go to like modern films, and we'll get to that in the next podcast, which is one battle after another, is that they don't show the common man anymore. Every protagonist and antagonist, they have superpowers in a sense. They're not the common man. They're above average. All have heightened senses. Whereas this guy, he is the complete common man. His ideology is up. The way of thinking is up, but nothing out of reality. And then the way he protects himself, he gets lucky. But that's what I mean. It's like it's the common man. But that's typical for that era of film. Whereas nowadays you don't have that. And I think we lost a bit of touch with reality because now everybody thinks that main character syndrome.
I think the great thing about Falling Down is it has influenced, and it takes influences from other films, but you could see it all over, like Joker. A lot of this stuff, you can see parallels to a film like Joker, where you've got a guy who is really likable and sympathetic, but he does horrible things. And it gets to a point where you're like, oh, he's gone too far. As it's progressively getting further and further. And it's tragic because you like him. Like, we love Michael Douglas in this movie because his voice is like the everyman voice. He's the guy that says, like, no, I want breakfast at McDonald's. Just because it's 2 minutes later doesn't mean I shouldn't get the breakfast meal. Or like telling off rich, wealthy suburbanites because they got nothing better to do than play golf while there's people in other parts of Los Angeles that are starving to death and go on purpose. Like, there's so much inequality that he's pointing out, almost like an exaggerated version of Larry David, or if Larry David was a psycho with a gun walking around Los Angeles, which would be pretty fun.
What we were saying earlier is that it has a nice balance in complexity when it comes to the main characters. Pendergast and Bill, or Defense, Michael Douglas's character. They're the opposite side of the same coin. They're the flip side of the same coin. One is the normal thinking one, which is the detective, which is Pendergast, Robert Duvall, with a crazy partner. Whereas Michael Douglas is the crazy one in the relationship between him and his ex-wife. The difference is that Robert Duvall stays with his partner even though she's crazy, and Michael Douglas's ex-wife, obviously divorced him.
There's also, like, by having this parallel between Robert Duvall's character and Michael Douglas's character, you can kind of see this unhealthy side of masculinity with Robert Duvall's character, where he doesn't express boundaries, he doesn't express himself, he lets people walk all over him, and then this unhealthy version with Michael Douglas's character, where he's exploding over nothing.
A few really interesting things about this whole film as well is that they don't waste time. And we'll get to that with one battle after another. Mark my words, we're gonna come back to that. They don't waste time. It's like the whole intro is set up real quick. You know instantly who Pendergast is, you know exactly and instantly who Bill is, which you then get questioned on because you think he's the average American guy. But then you start questioning it the more actions he
Yeah, the information is drip-fed to you.
Exactly. And then all the way to the end, there is no such thing as the new equilibrium. There is, it's hinted at, but like the climax is done and the whole movie ends within 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Everything that is going to happen is either simply referenced to or alluded to with a single line. You don't have to go and show how the family reunites and how they are. It's like, no. Robert Duvall clearly says, Pendergast clearly says, my name is Mud. And a kid says, like, your name is not Mud. It's like, it is when I tell my wife I'm still a cop.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it. That's all that's said about it. And I had to think about it for a second. I was like, actually wondering, it's like, what's going to happen with Pendergast? Like, is he still going to, because he finally stood up to his wife and be like, hey, shut up, cook my chicken. I'm not going to quit my job early today. I'm not going to sign off early. And now he says, so he stood up to her. Doesn't mean he's still going to stand up to her and say like, hey, I'm not quitting being a cop. I'm staying a cop. And it's just alluded to in that one single bit of dialogue in 3 lines. In that one line he says it. And it's just, that's all you need to know. It sets me to think. It sets me to question what is going to happen next. And there's no time wasted.
Well, if there's one thing you're 100% right on, it's that there's no time wasted. This movie goes for like an hour and 30, hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no scenes that I'm like, this dragged on, this could have been cut, stuff like that. But holy crap, when we watch a new movie these days, like that one battle after another, I was just like, it could end here, it could end here, it could end here, but it just keeps going. Like, why is so much wasted in modern movies? Is it because we don't have to worry about the cost of film because everything's digital, that pretentious directors and filmmakers have to film every little bit and just jerk off to their masterpieces? I just don't understand it with modern movies. Like, why everything has to go for 3.5 hours. And when you see this and you see how much they achieve in an hour and 40 minutes and how many memorable, iconic scenes are back to back.
Then you don't need 2 hours and 40 minutes.
One thing I would like to bring up, how weird is it to know that Joel Schumacher, that directed this, also gave us the worst Batman movie ever made, Batman and Robin. Like, don't you find that crazy? That someone could make something so complex, layered.
Was it Michael Keaton as Batman?
No. So the George Clooney Batman.
Oh, that was the George Clooney Batman.
The worst Batman.
I haven't even watched it. Maybe when I was a kid, I don't remember.
Me and Martin watched it. On the YouTube channel, you can actually see our reaction video. Horrible movie. But what I'm saying is, it's amazing how a director could make something so bad and so good. And not only, like, this isn't the only great movie Joel Schumacher's directed. He also directed A Time to Kill, which is a classic with Matthew McConaughey and Samuel Jackson. And he directed The Lost Boys, which is one of my favorite vampire films.
But that it also comes to show. It's the source material. It is the producers behind it. It is the writing behind it. Sometimes it's when you're getting a piece of all you can do is make a shit sandwich out of it.
I think it's
a bearable piece of shit.
It's much clearer when you see Joel Schumacher's other work. You're like, oh yeah, this definitely was studios
exactly
in getting way too involved.
Yeah.
Because there's no way this guy would make something this bad.
Well, yeah, exactly, right?
When he can make such great stuff.
When I'm making a standalone movie, so then Joel Schumacher would have so much creative freeness to do whatever he wants to do with this. Right? Whereas if you do Batman, you are tied into a bigger story. You cannot create characters. You cannot add any storylines. You cannot create any relationships or depth or complexity to certain characters because it might attach to something somewhere else. Or someone might even have an association with something from a different Batman movie. And if that happens, you can't do that.
One thing I love about the direction with Joel Schumacher is I love these dynamic long shots he takes, but they don't overdo it. They give you just enough and then move on with the story. Yeah. Whereas in, modern movies, I feel like they got to stay on a shot for 2.5 hours just to give you a little bit of information.
I know exactly the shot you're talking about.
The first shot in the movie is this long shot where it goes from the car all the way to the buses, showing the other cars around him.
Yeah.
building up the anxiety and tension until he finally walks out of the car.
Yeah, exactly. It's the moment he realizes, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm never going to come back anyway, so leave my car and go. I think it's the lack of CGI that forces the filmmakers to become creative. Nowadays, you have these long shots, but because of CGI, there's always some kind of movement here and there, and the actor doesn't have to do much anymore. Whereas in this film in the 90s, Michael Douglas needed to have stuff happening in his eyes, which makes it interesting because on a human level, we connect with him. And he does so many things. Whereas nowadays, it's just CGI happening, we don't connect with it.
So
It's
because
just...
there's cuts, you feel...
No. Even with the long shots, there's often still so much CGI happening.
Yeah, like it feels sanitized.
It feels
too
super
clean.
sanitized. Yeah.
And especially a movie like this would not be made now. I mean, because the raw grittiness of LA, like the heat, everything that you feel when you watch this just wouldn't come across naturally, authentically, because they would do things like, add a little bit of CGI here or a little bit here to get this across.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you'd be like, that's taking me out of the movie. I know that's not real. All right, let's play a game. Top 5 favorite scenes from Falling Down. Top 5 favorite scenes from Falling Down.
Number 5, shopkeeper. Korean shopkeeper.
That's definitely one of them.
That's definitely one of them. Korean shopkeeper. Fucking hilarious.
Just seeing him like asking the shopkeeper the prices and then smashing the food.
How much are the donuts? $3.20. Too expensive.
And for us, we're just like, I wish we could go back to those prices.
Number 4.
I love the bazooka scene because there's something so poignant and funny about a kid explaining to an adult, like, that's not how you use the rocket launcher. Let me show you. And even Bill in that state is like, that's kind of weird that you know more about this than I do. But okay, cool.
Number 3.
The burger scene.
Nah.
Oh, you don't
I was
like
gonna
the
say
burger
golf
scene?
cart.
Okay, all right, the golf cart scene. Why the golf cart scene?
That's just hilarious. Like the guy's dying of a heart attack, shoots the golf cart rolls into the water, and he's like, well, it's not your day, is it? And then walks off. It's just
Something about that scene, right, that I like is he's not instigating anything really. Bill did not create, like, yes, he's walking onto a private golf course, right? But he's purely just walking by. It would have been so easy for this old guy to just let it go and be like, oh, okay, no worries, man, I'll just wait. But the entitlement from this guy of like, no one walks through my golf course and I pay my fees and all this crap and yada yada.
Yeah.
Creates this domino effect where now you're dying from a heart attack and no one's going to help you. All because you couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a scene that shows like a lack of morality from Bill because this guy is dying.
Yeah.
But also you can understand like he could have just let it go. It was a very easy thing to overlook.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So I can see that as a reason why I'd put it as a top scene.
Yeah.
Especially like his justification when he's losing it at this old guy of like, you know, the entitlement this guy has that you've got this entire land around you to play with, but it's not enough for you.
Number 2.
The scene with the Nazi.
With the Nazi? Yeah, I thought the Nazi guy was gonna him in the ass.
That's what you would have wanted to happen.
No, but it really looked like it. He tried to tie him up. He spread his legs. It's like he's not gonna pull his bands down now, is he? Because you often see it. Maybe not in the movies from back then. It's like real homophobic guys turn out to be gay themselves.
Well, 1 year later, you would see Pulp Fiction. There's a scene in Pulp Fiction where Bruce Willis and the other character, like, they get into a fight, they get in the shop, and then they're put in the basement. And that happens where this racist kind of redneck police officer ends up sexually assaulting one of the guys. So it's a very similar thing of like, you think he's got like this homophobic kind of attitude, and then turns out to sexually assault the guy,
Yeah.
which contradicts his whole.
Yeah.
So I can see what you mean by thinking that this dude was gonna turn out to just assault him like that. And it would have made sense in a way, because it's like you don't understand if this guy has a whole lack of morals and values, and just everything's off limits for him.
Everything's off limits.
I love that scene because I just love watching Michael Douglas's thoughts in his mind of being like, oh, well, like, you're too much for me, man.
I'm
Like,
just going home to see my daughter.
I don't, like, I'm not a psycho, you're the psycho. Number one. Honestly, I think Prendergast, Robert Duvall and Michael Douglas's confrontation at the end, it's very memorable. And I like it because there's a lot going on there. And there's seeing this police officer try to calmly kind of disarm him and get his attention away so that they can get the gun off him is really well done. But he's also like, he's showing vulnerability to Bill by revealing, you know, I lost my daughter. This tragic thing happened for me, to try and build.
But it didn't reach Michael Douglas though.
It didn't, but he was trying. Like,
He was trying, yeah.
Like, it helped me understand more about him. And I could see that, like, that character feels like the best way to handle this is by showing warmth and compassion rather than...
Nah, it's not about showing warmth and compassion. I disagree with that. I would say he levels with Michael Douglas's character. He levels with Bill. Be like, oh, you know, no, you're right. This fish, if they say the fish here in the ocean, if you eat that, you can get poisoned.
Yeah, it starts...
That is sick.
Yeah.
That is what's bad about this. He levels with him to soften him up, not through warmth and sympathy, but to agreeing with what he's saying and not disagreeing with him, not giving him the warmth, but giving him the coldness that he is giving himself. And be like, cool, now we're leveling. Now then he connects a little bit with the daughter and gives her the popcorn, so the daughter would give the popcorn to her dad, which is Bill, so that he would let go of the gun. It's all thought out kind of thing what he's doing, which is really great. So you see him working with all those multiple layers, but to disarm Michael Douglas's character was not through warmth and sympathy. Well, I get what you're saying. He agrees with him.
I guess he does relate with him. Like, the first thing he goes is like, yeah, you know, like, it is really hot here and everything's toxic. You know, I can understand why you needed to vent some frustration today. Like, this place can be fucking crazy. Even the fish are poison.
Exactly.
Definitely my number one, though, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. That's definitely number one. 1 to 5 stars, Michael. What would you give it?
Oh, man. Falling Down for me is an underrated classic. I would give it a 5 out of 5 because because I've watched it multiple times. I never get sick of it. I always find something new that I like about it, something really well thought out. And I'm constantly asking myself questions. But not questions like, oh, that was really stupid. Why did they do that? I mean, questions like, oh, was this character going to do this? And I never thought of it like that way. Like, even now, as we're talking about it, I'm having more kind of realizations about the characters, why certain things gel well with me, right? And I also find it really iconic watching Michael Douglas lose his shit at people over hamburgers and homeless people.
Classic.
Calling them out on their bullshit, but then turning out to be a hypocrite by the end of it.
Yeah.
I think that Falling Down is still relevant now. There were things in this that were still so relevant now.
Yeah.
But not in like that woke bullshit way, but like genuine issues of inequality.
I will give it a 4 out of 5. I thought the movie was excellent. The story arc's really good. It was clear. The just the ex-wife at the end going to the pier just made no sense to me, and it felt like it was like that was a character choice made purely to serve the story and not to serve the character.
To make it look cool. Because it looks cool for the showdown and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it took you out of it.
It took me out of it
Yeah.
a little bit at the end. It's like, why would you go there?
Yep.
What? Why?
Yeah,
Like, out of everywhere, that was your favorite spot with your ex-husband. So guess the one place he's going to look at when he's looking for you. Your guy's favorite spot. And it's just dumb. It's just like in every scary movie. It's like, why would the character do this? You know you're going to die if you go into that room. Why would you go into that room? It wasn't believable.
Took you a bit out of it.
I'm taking a point off for that. It's just because it's like, it takes me out of the story and question the motives of the character. That's the reason why I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that was Falling Down, our classic movie review. Join us next time when we talk about a modern movie.
One battle after another.
Yep. Can't wait to discuss that movie. Yep. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more reviews like this. Until next time, take care.